Welcome to Health, Wealth, Wisdom Parents Edition Super Summit. Your host for this session is Patrice Porter. She is the creator of programs such as Got Dirt, Gardening for Kids, and Fabulous Family Futures. She is also a #1 best-selling author. Welcome your super host, Patrice.
And welcome back. We have another speaker here, Jennifer Tolo, and she is known for helping women and children find calm in life's chaos. I know that's something a lot of us need. And her highest accomplishment, she was working as a critical care nurse and helping 2 of her 4 sons heal from overcome a life-threatening illnesses, and raising the 4 young men who know their power by embracing their intuition, their voice, and soul-aligned choices. So welcome, Jennifer, and if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself and why it's so important to be able to find that calm in life's chaos and raise those wonderful children.
Thank you, Patrice. Well, I, like many women that I know and many women that are my clients, I I am a type A woman that strives to get it right, whatever it is, right? And to do the best and be the best that I can possibly be. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to do that. I went into critical care nursing and I thought that I thrived in chaos. I was able to stay calm in the chaos when I was a critical care nurse. But when it came to my children, it became a little bit more personal, and I found
Mm.
that it was a little harder to stay calm in the chaos because I wanted things to go a certain way. I wanted things to be a certain way. And I was very focused on outcomes, like many of my clients. So I married a orthopedic surgeon. He was not around as much as I would have probably liked him to be around because he was in surgery and meeting people's needs. And I had my first son and I had a C-section. So that didn't go the way that I had planned, despite all my planning. And then my second son, when I had my second son, he had a massive stroke at birth. And it really rocked my world because, again, as much as I planned, as much as I took care of my body, ate the right foods, and did the right things, I still had something happen that I couldn't control. But this experience really awakened me to my own intuition and to the gaps in healthcare. And I had a dear friend of mine that wanted to train me in Reiki. And as many of the moms listening know, there's nothing you won't do for your child. So
Yeah.
I had her train me in Reiki. I learned about nutrition. My son didn't move his right side of his body, so I became a personal trainer because I really wanted to understand how to help him move and maximize his body, his brain. So the nutrition piece was to help his brain, and the movement was to help his body. Um, and fast forward a few years, the same day that I found out I was having my fourth boy, I found out my third son had leukemia. So he had high risk leukemia.
Oh.
But I, at this point, I was already awakened to my own strength, my resiliency, my intuition. I knew how to do Reiki. I knew what the gaps were, and I knew how to bridge those gaps. So I did Reiki on him every day. I fed him really good whole nutrition because I knew that was important, even though the nutritionists were telling me just get calories in him. I wrote this book because of that, which is called Family Fuel: A Busy Mom's Guide to Healthy Living, because I really believe that it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And I really learned that I had to, as I was taking care of everybody else and my own health was starting to suffer, I had to learn to put my own oxygen mask on first. I had to learn how to take care of myself so I could continue to show up and be there and be the best version of me for my children, and for my kids' well-being. So everything I learned for myself and my children, but now I share it with everybody. And my specialty is really helping people manage the inevitable stressors of their life, learn how to realign their expectations with reality and their outcome focus to intentional living, or soul aligned living. So that's my passion, helping moms, helping children, because I feel like I talk to the moms because what you do for a mom and what a mom does for herself will trickle down to her children. So I really want to create more present parents, and more purposeful parenting and more soul aligned, connected parents. So that's really a little bit of my story in a nutshell.
What a journey. I could hardly even imagine that you definitely, excuse me, had a good schooling there, and it's wonderful that you're now able to pass that on and share with others. And I love that when you say the intentional
Yeah.
living. So many of us just go through, you know, almost
Autopilot.
unconsciously, and it's in
Yeah.
our routines and such like that. So well, tell us first a little bit more of why it's really important that you find that calm in the chaos and living intentionally and soul aligned and
Well, I mean, I think if you look at statistics and you look at what's going on in our world, we have really stressed out parents and adults that are creating really stressed out children, really overwhelmed children that can't problem solve, critically think, because we are in this stress spin. We're caught up in this. We're all on this hamster wheel, right? And we don't understand even where we're going. We're just following and doing what people tell us we should be doing, and we're trying to keep up. But this autopilot is robbing us of joy. It's robbing us of connection. And so that's where the intentional living comes in, because when we pause and understand, what am I doing and why am I doing this? What is my intention here? For personally, but also as a parent, what are you doing with your children? What are you stressing with your children? There have been a lot of studies as far as what people, parents, adults say they want for their children, but their actions are not in alignment with what they're saying they want. So they say they want their kids to be happy, but their actions are really emphasizing achievement over happiness. So this is what I mean by intention. And when you're intentional and when you pause and you become purposeful in what you're doing, like I'm doing this because I want to teach my kids this, or I want my children to understand this. This is where it's you really start to reclaim your power over your life because you're more present in your life. You're more purposeful in your life. And I think that that's how we can get off of this hamster wheel, step off, catch our breath, and enjoy the moment. Because here's the thing, life is chaotic. You can't,
yeah.
you cannot eliminate stress from your life. So a lot of people think that as a stress management expert, I'm teaching people how to eliminate stress in their life. I teach you how to reframe the stressors in your life, because many of us are still in this survival mode, in this fight or flight, where we're seeing threats where there really aren't any. And we are getting triggered by things that we don't need to be triggered by, or we are hyper focused on things that aren't important, and we might be missing things that are important. So, and this all comes from regulating ourself. When we do that, we can start to really become more present, intentional, purposeful in what we're doing, in our choices, which that's our greatest power. I really believe our superpower, our greatest power is our choice and our voice.
Wow, wow. And so what would be some of the first steps folks could take to
Yeah,
start living more intentionally and finding calm in that
calm
chaos?
and well, I love that I have a plaque up on my wall, and it many of us think that life has to calm down for us to find calm. And I think that's the first thing is when you recognize that you can cultivate, just like a hurricane or a storm, you can cultivate calm within yourself that helps you stay steady and present when the chaos is around you. So I think that's an important thing for people to understand is to be aware of those moments. So I teach something called the ABCs of stress management. And A, which is the first step, is awareness. Being aware of those moments where you are on autopilot, where you're not, you're just doing, but you don't even know why you're doing something. Or being aware of that feeling that you get when you start to feel overwhelmed or exhausted, or you're starting to get burned out because you're giving and giving and giving without filling up your own energy well. So awareness is really key. And when you have those moments where you're exhausted or overwhelmed or feeling like you're on autopilot or getting triggered by something, the B part is balancing your nervous system. So taking some deep breaths, which is the power of the pause, giving yourself a moment to pause and push away whatever, like just be in this moment and take some slow, deep breaths to reset your nervous system. It takes just 2 minutes of deep breathing to reset your nervous system and elicit that relaxation response. And what happens is a lot of women that I know, a lot of moms have trouble taking that pause because they're afraid of missing out, or they're afraid if I stop, I'm gonna miss something, or I'm gonna drop a ball, or going to make a mistake. And what we don't realize is that pause is absolutely powerful and critical to be able to show up your best self, because that pause is resetting your nervous system, reconnecting to yourself and to the moment. And then the C part is that connection piece. Connect to what's going on. What's the reality of what's happening versus the expectation that you're putting yourself on yourself or on somebody else. What's the reality of what's happening? Are you safe in this moment? Are your children safe in this moment? Right? What is it that you can control in this moment? Because I'll tell you what, we try to control way more than we can actually control. Our control is within ourself. We can control our actions, our reactions, our choices in the present moment, and that's it. We can't control other people. We can't control outcomes, although we put a lot of time and attention to trying to do that. We can't control for certainty. We can't control other people's happiness or other people's um, reaction to something. We can just control ourself and just in this moment. But what we do in this moment can impact things down the road. They can impact outcomes. They can impact our children. They can impact other people's actions and reactions. And so that's why being present helps you connect and make the most empowered choices, because you're really able to prioritize what's important to me right now. What can control right now? What will my choice right now? How will that influence my children, my life? So I
Yeah.
think those are the ABCs, and I dive a lot deeper into this in my programs, but I think that's how people can start to become more present. Stopping. So pause, reset your nervous system, and connect to what is it that I need in this moment? What is it that my kids need from me in this moment? And that's a pretty powerful place to start.
Yeah, to me, it would make for a much more fulfilling life too,
Yeah.
when you're actually present and living in the moment,
Yeah.
and it actually makes for you might say you're taking a break or a pause, but then you have so much more to give
Right.
because you are fully and
Well,
present.
and if you think about it from an energy perspective, right? We only have so much energy. And like right now, I've got really bad allergies. So my energy is a little lower. So I have to recognize that I can't say yes to everything. I can't show up and to everybody and everything that is asking for my time and attention. I have to be discerning about who gets my time and attention because it's limited. And when I keep giving and keep giving and keep giving, and I don't set boundaries, I don't discern what to say yes to and what to say no to. I don't um, give myself permission to replenish my energy through rest, through self-care, through pausing and reconnecting to myself, then that's when we get burned out. That's when we sort of we're floating along, but we're really running on fumes at this point. So I think
Yeah.
to look at it from an energy standpoint, which is a big part of the work that I do, um, and what I think it's like $100, right? If you have $100 every day and you give out all $100 to everybody and everything, and then people still keep asking you for something, so you're borrowing or you're in a deficit, and you never take time to replenish, that's when you wind up with nothing, right? You got nothing left to
Yeah.
give, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in that place. I've definitely been in that place. And that's when my own health started to suffer. And I had this wake up call like, girl, if you don't put yourself on the map and start taking care of yourself and prioritizing yourself, you're not going to be able to help your children. And my
Yeah.
children need me to show up present, balanced, aligned, so I can connect with them versus triggered, overwhelmed, reactive, right?
Mm.
Snappy. That's not
Well,
showing up myself. That's not who they need. And especially as I help them navigate and understand themselves, I can't do that if I'm in a very triggered or fight or fight place, survival mode place.
and what a contrast when you look at those two pictures, yourself as that present, balanced, energized, and responsive, as to the overwhelmed, triggered, reactive. What a contrast in there, and that importance of the self-care. So, could you give us some tips for pa parents or people listening, if they are in that place of overwhelm and everything, how they can start to regain, or where to begin?
Yeah. Where to begin? I mean, I'll take everybody through it right now. One of my favorite things to do is to just put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, wherever you are, and just take some slow, deep breaths, feeling your hands rise as you breathe into your belly and let the chest rise. Feel like bring yourself back to your body. That's why I like to touch the body when I'm doing this. And just tell yourself, I'm doing the best I can in this moment, and that's enough. And I'm okay, and my kids are going to be okay. I need to be gentler and kinder to myself. And so I'm going to take a moment to just breathe and reset. And when you do that, then ask yourself, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? And let that guide you. Let that be the intention for your actions. But that's a
Wow.
quick pause. I think a lot of people think self-care needs to be this long thing or chunks of time. But I like to call them micro moments where you can just take a pause, 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to reset your nervous system. Now, how many of you can't take 2 minutes to just do what we just did? Breathe, be
Yeah, right
present.
here, what we did, and that was so powerful, and what here, we're on a summit talking, and I feel much better. I
Yeah,
feel
good,
calmer and
good.
more responsive.
Right, right. And I
And
think a lot of us put this pressure on ourselves to show up a certain way. And in the grand scheme of things, nobody really cares but ourselves. Like nobody's looking at us and judging us. and expecting us to do all these things. But the more we give, the more we're making that the norm. So think
Yeah.
about how much more present and powerful can you show up in your life if you learn to just pause and be a little more discerning about what you're saying yes to, what you're showing up for.
Yeah. And tuning into your, your intuition or whatever, and what is it that I really want at this
Yeah.
time, or what do I want to do, or where
Right.
finding the direction so that you're
Yeah,
not just floating through life and
absolutely. And a lot of times I was a saying that I saw, your children don't need your perfection. They need your presence.
yeah, yeah,
So when we put this pressure on ourselves to get it all right, to do it all right, to have it look good for everybody else, no one cares. So
yeah,
it's okay, right? I mean, we all need to recognize and give ourselves a moment to not be okay, to get ourselves back to being okay. And that's what the
yeah,
pause does.
yeah. And that awareness that, like, whoa, okay, I'm a little off balance right now.
Yeah.
Let's just take a
Yeah.
pause and
Right.
wow,
I just
that's
snapped at my kids right now. I just yelled at my son for my child for something. I mean, I've done that. None of us are perfect. I have definitely had some of those parenting moments that I'd love to redo, right? But they were moments of teaching me something. They were moments of mirrors reflecting to me, oh, girl, hello, time to
yeah,
pause, time to reset. You're a little dysregulated right now, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And doing those check-ins, hey? Like
Yeah.
checking in, like, oh, what's really happening here? Is this really what I want to, the direction I want to be going in? Is this serving me at all? Or
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they're
so
powerful.
you have a free gift for the audience?
I do. I find a lot of people get stuck in this what if scenario, and we tend to focus on what's wrong versus what's right. So one of my free gift is just a quick little ebook guide that's called The 5 Steps to Shift Negative Mindset so you can thrive. So it's just 5 steps to shift your mindset to start really focusing on what's right, the things that you can control, things that you can do, the positive parts. It can really be a game changer. Just a little shift in the mindset.
Yeah, and so simple but powerful. So the link was
Absolutely.
put in the chat there, so folks can click on that and get that gift. And if anybody has any questions that you wanted to ask Jennifer, and
Yeah.
I don't know, Jennifer, if you wanted to cover it here, but I was really curious, like your sons and their life-threatening diseases.
Hmm.
And you said it's like alternative for health and what like the missing gaps.
Yeah, the
So
gaps. Mhm.
what kind of areas did you find that you said Reiki
Yeah.
and
So it's funny. I teach a course now in college for a School of Nursing based on these experiences. And I have to say, both of my boys are thriving. One of them is actually going into medicine. The one that had cancer is going into medicine. He's in school right now. He's 20. And my son that had the stroke he just did a super Spartan race. So this kid that couldn't move one
wow.
side just did a massive race. So, and you know, that's all from understanding who they are and what they can do and focusing on, you know, the power within themselves and the power of transformation. So, the things that I did, so I teach this course called Complementary and Alternative Approaches to Health and Healing. And there are a lot of different things that you can do, but, so you can go to somebody for Reiki, which is energy work, or acupuncture. I'm a big proponent of mindfulness and meditation and guided meditations, sound healing, aromatherapy, herbal medicine as I drink my herbal tea, right? There's a lot of different things that we can do. Um, the power of the mind is incredible. And when we stop looking at the body as isolated things, like the systems of the body as isolated things, like depression being a problem with the mind. It's not, it's a mind-body connection. It's a gut-brain connection. Anxiety is a gut-brain connection. So these are the things that I really dived into and explored for myself, but then use these things to help bridge the gap. So the being present, the power of mindfulness to be present. Because when I was going through chemotherapy with my son, and I'd show up at the clinic, and I would see these families that didn't get good news. It's hard. There are moments, and I remember driving into the hospital and thinking like, "Oh my God, I don't know how much more I can take of this. Like I don't know how much stronger I can be." And saying a little prayer, and then walking into the hospital and seeing this family crying in the side, in the corner, that just found out there are no more treatments for their child. And it was perspective for me. And I thought, you know what? There is a light at the end of this tunnel. They do know how to heal my son. And I just need to be strong and get him through this and have hope. And, that's where mindfulness really was a game changer for me. Because if I got too caught up in what ifs and
Yeah.
looking for outcomes or wanting certainty, that's where I would get into trouble. That's where I can kind of go down that stress spiral. So
Yeah.
mindfulness for me was a game changer. Presence was a game changer. Nutrition was a game changer. Um, Yoga for me was a game changer and helped me just move my body and connect with my body in a very gentle way. Um, Breathing and the power of breath work was a game changer for me and for many people. Hypnosis. There are so many different things in the alternative world that many practitioners, doctors, nurses, hospitals are learning about and wanting to bring in. Now we just need to kind of, at least in the US, fine tune that and make it be more accessible to people and more streamlined and I'm sorry, integrated, more integrated. The word just spaced my brain, but more integrated with like, yes, you can take these medications, like chemotherapy saved my son, but they're not discerning with what cells they're killing. So the Reiki and the energy work helps clear the negative effects and helps replenish the body's energy while we're going through this rough time. So that's what I'm talking about. So does the good nutrition, as you know, the gardening grandma. Good nutrition is really important for cellular regeneration. So those are the kinds of adjunct or alternative things I'm talking about, complementary and alternative things.
Well, that's wonderful, and thank you for clearing that up with me. It's
Yeah,
so
sure.
important that we're aware of that there is those alternatives, as you said, fill in the gaps, that
Yeah.
there is hope and that you can find calm in that chaos. So I appreciate all you've brought here, and I hope folks will get the VIP package so you can get the recording. There was a lot of great information there shared, Jennifer. I appreciate that. And
And I
pick
think I
up the.
offered a free session with the VIP. Gets a free session with
Okay,
me.
so you've got
Yeah.
a VIP gift,
Yes.
a free session with you for
Yes.
helping
Yes.
in your help and finding
Yes.
that chaos.
Yes.
Refresh
Yeah.
energy balance session. Excellent. There it is. So
Yes.
sign up, get that VIP package, and take Jennifer up on her offer.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jennifer, and I appreciate it. Did you have one last little tip you wanted, or anything you want to say before we close it out?
Just to let people know that the calm is really there always within yourself. So you just have to find it. And if you want more calm in your life, you just need to learn how to find it within the chaos, not wait for life to calm down. Everything you need is inside of you. You just got to trust it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session from the Health, Wealth, and Wisdom Parents Edition. For the recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you run into any problems during the summit, email our support team at admin@rolemodelmaker.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic guest coming right up.